Who that? Oh, okay. Yeah, trust me. There's a point where like I was just trying to like put out videos where it's like a variety of content. So like if you like, music stuff, if you like skits, that's what I was doing for a time, and I still do them from time to time. But it's like football is like my main course. Yeah, yeah. He's a Vikings fan. I'm not listening to him. Like we can't all be Chiefs, Packer, Raven, 49 fans. Sometimes you gotta take one for the team. Someone's got to root for mediocre franchises. Free agency. Ugo Amadi's back. He's a Super Bowl champion, man. Put some respect on that man's name. Uh, Kyle, John says he can't hear you. John says he can't hear you. Um,
Oh, okay. You can probably can you? I wonder if you can hear me now. I wonder if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now, John?
yeah, well, I can hear you through my end.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you can. Okay. Yeah. So I accidentally had it. Ooh, that's peaking. Let me move that back a little
Well,
bit.
no, I
So
have it on the YouTube thing, so yeah, I can hear you from my end.
okay. There we go. All right. It was peaking real bad there for a second. Okay. So yeah, I accidentally had it muted for whatever reason. So I guess I got to like restate some of the things that I said. Okay. So the first thing I said was a Jim. What do you want me to do? You know, this is the NFL channel. Like I respect it and I appreciate you, voicing your opinion and stuff like that. And I appreciate you coming to people can say
It's not
whatever they
really an
want
opinion. It's not really
because
an opinion. You're saying the season's over.
well, yes, but he's stated this opinion many times before that he doesn't think that there's any point in posting content in the off season. Because there's no like that's not what he's exactly saying here, but he said that before, so it like I know what he's saying because he's said it plenty of times before. But yeah, I mean you can have your own opinion, that's fine and everything like that. But if this channel has any like I mean I've already basically taken an entire off season off before, and that was not very good for this channel. Um, so I mean, I got to post content in the off season, and like, we can't all be wide variety YouTube channels. First of all, I just don't want to do that. I don't like, I respect your channel, Jim. You got a lot more subscribers than I do, so kudos to you. But like, I don't really want to post like videos about pop stars. So I'm an NFL channel. Maybe one day in the future, if I have enough success, I might open another channel. But I'm still going to have this channel, which means this channel still needs to have content in the off season. And yeah, it's the really dead part of the off season too right now. It's like after the big part of free agency, but before the draft. And then there's going to be another probably even deader period after the draft and before training camp starts. Um, so
Yeah.
the off season's tough, honestly, when it comes to
Yeah.
creating content as an NFL like person. But
And the draft is right before my birthday.
so John says Cacaw, Battlehawks coming up. Let's go, Battlehawks. Let's go.
Man, I stopped watching that league.
I'll be honest, I don't really watch it a whole lot, but I pick my team and I root for my team. And if I get a
Man,
chance, I'll
bro,
watch it. I just don't really
they
seek
took
it out.
away my team. I don't watching that bull crap no more.
They took away your team.
Yes.
Was your team even in that league?
Yeah. Well,
They
when
were in
they
the
were
other league.
transitioning.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
but they were transitioning, and
Well,
now I just hate all
well, the
teams.
Battlehawks were in the XFL, so there was never a New
Oh,
Orleans team in the XFL.
yeah, but then when they bonded, they created the USFL or whatever it's called, the UFL or whatever, and
UFL,
then
yeah.
they took away my team, and my team was one of the best teams in the other league. Man, bro.
I miss the old UFL. With like I liked the Florida Tuskers from the old UFL. I thought I was like when like that came out when I was like a teenager, and I was like, oh cool, the NFL's finally gonna get some competition. And no, that league just fell on its face, just like every other league ever, and probably this one will too, because like
What happened to
you
the fan
like trying
controlled
to
football
compete with
league?
the NFL is stupid.
What happened to the fan controlled football league? Is that still happening?
I have no idea. Yeah, the Tuskers. Let me see if I can find their logo.
Because
I remember
I'm
like
trying to.
Jay Gruden was their coach for a minute, I think. Yeah, look
Is
at
he
those.
the brother to John?
Yeah, yeah, and he was our offensive coordinator for a while too, and he was actually the head coach for Washington.
Yeah, I knew he was the head coach for Washington. I was just because
Yeah,
I never really knew if he was the brother of John or like just coincidence. But
Yeah, the Florida Tuskers, the old UFL team from like basically again when I was a teenager. There was a abnormal amount of like ex Bengals players on the Florida Tuskers, and that's the reason why I like the team. But also like I mean, dude, look at these uniforms. That's like I know you got like a bit of a Carolina Panthers vibe going on, but I just thought
Man,
they
nah, I'm getting Lions vibes. I'm
I
getting
thought that
Lions
well
and
no
Panthers vibes.
well from today, but back then it would have been much more reminiscent of the Panthers. Especially
Yeah,
this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they did have some green in their logo or like
When
in
I
their
saw that
colors, so it
14,
was a little
when I saw
different.
that 14, I thought that was Amon St. Brown up there.
Oh yeah, well yeah, this one because that's what the like current Lions uniforms look like. But that's like that just happened like last year or the year before or something like that. Back in 2008, the Lions were not had did not have uniforms like that. But who is singing?
My sister.
Okay, is there any way she could stop singing?
Yeah, do what he said. You can go now.
All right. Well, anyway, so I already talked about this, but apparently my microphone was off, so I'll go through it again. So we're doing power rankings today, because here, let me get the thing back up here. We're doing power rankings today, partially because it's the dead season of the NFL. But it's just like why not? I like doing power. Like I was talking to Mikey about this, but I think power rankings is kind of a fun thing for us to do on this show. It seems like something that will always have content. We don't have to be thinking right up until we actually go live. Like, what the hell are we even going to talk about today? So I don't know. More power rankings, yay, nay. I think it sounds fun. It always gets a little bit of like a what do you call it? Like people like no people talk like in the chat and stuff like what do you call that? Like collaboration.
Like interactive.
Yeah, it's interactive. People talk in the chat and stuff like that. So I think we're gonna try to do more power rankings, but it also John says hi, Mikey's sister.
Yeah, well, she's gone now. Thank
Yeah,
God.
I wasn't trying to be like shut up. It was more like, hey, recording, and also we can hear you, and there's a show going on.
Trust me, bro, man. Trust me, like Mackenzie, man. Like man. Like no wonder she's my sister, man. We both break out in our singing voices for no reason at all, just to do it.
Okay. So anyway, power rankings. Part of why I'm kind of excited to do power rankings here is because it gives me an excuse to show you guys my new website for the show. And it's not just for my show, it's for the whole channel and like both of the podcasts, including this podcast. It's just kind of a central hub. And I also actually have a reason for you guys to go to my channel. Unlike and no disrespect, but unlike Tom Grossi's website, which is basically just some pictures and some contact information, and it's a nice website, but it doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of point to the website, right? But I have a reason for you guys to go to my website, and I will show you. So let me get back to other screen here. So this is my website. So one thing, you leave comments on my show, and our faces are kind of in the way here, so you can't really see it very well. But bring it over here. So yeah, if you leave a comment on YouTube and it's a good comment or something like that, I'll put it up here on the website. It'll be like on the front page where everybody can see it, and so that's a fun little interactive thing. But the information about the show, you can find it on here. The name of the website, by the way, is jungle-hub.com. And yes, haha, that's funny. But also, like, I wasn't going to pay $300 for welcome to the jungle.com. So I picked a domain that cost me $3, honestly. But like, I mean, if you're going, you're not like, I'm not expecting this website to show up in search engines. This is more of a website for people who already like my show to potentially go to. And so at that point, it doesn't really like need to be like a catchy domain name. Like you can just click on the link in the YouTube description. Here's an RSS feed of the podcast. Obviously, the Battle of Ohio podcast isn't doing much right now, but I did talk to Thomas. I think yesterday, it might have been the day before, but me and him are going to do the first round of the NFL draft live. And then it sounds like me and Mikey are going to do the day 2 live. And then day 3, I will not be live because that's 12 fucking hours and you can't make me. I don't want to. I mean, I might go live at some point talking about what's happening, but I'm not going to do the whole damn day. Fuck that.
Yeah, there was times I didn't even feel like streaming football games because I thought they were too long.
If you ever want to know what the schedule for the show, because I mean, people ask me that a lot, like what's the next show that's coming out, like, you know, when are you going live next, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to keep this more updated. It's not perfectly updated right now, obviously, as you can see. These two first ones did not actually happen, but I do intend to more or less kind of keep to this schedule somewhat, especially once school's over. Here, May, this one here down here, May 15th. My graduation is May 5th. So after May 5th, I should be able to at least do more live content. I plan to do more. I plan to do more standalone videos and stuff like that, but I'm definitely going to try to do more live content, and I'm probably going to start doing Twitch too. So that's all fun. But the real reason for you to come to this website is this. It's the fan zone. You can come here. I haven't opened a Patreon yet, but there will be a Patreon there. Again, I haven't. I did open a Twitch. Like, this is my Twitch here, but obviously I haven't really done anything with it yet. So, but it does go to my Twitch page. That really does exist. But obviously there's no reason to go for that. The only reason right now that you really might want to come to my website, though, is I built this power rankings maker down here. Like this is I hand built this myself, and you can basically come in here and you can make your own power rankings. So, like, for example, we all know the Bengals are the greatest team in the history of football, so obviously they're number one. And we all also know, fuck the Steelers. Well, we all know the Saints are number 2, but the Steelers are number 32 for all time and the rest of history forever. And John likes that idea, which is good. And I don't have the chat up, so sorry, John, I can't show your chat here. I can probably do this. Hold on. Scene chat. There we go. There we go. There's John. All right. Yeah, John says that looks fun. So yeah, this is something you can come to, and I had a lot of fun. Like, I made this in like, I'm getting really technical here. I don't know how much y'all are gonna like know what I'm talking about. That like, there's a lot of scripting with like JavaScript and React and everything like that. So if enough people like this, maybe I make more games like this, and then the real crux here, the reason why you might want to come use it, other than just like it's kind of this fun little neat thing, is you can build your power rankings. You can save them, and it'll download a JPEG here, and then it'll have your thing. And I'll probably at some point add a feature where you can also put your name on it or something like that. And then you can email me at wttjshow@gmail.com. Just email me your power rankings, and we'll put you'll go to the events page up here. You'll know what the upcoming event is, and then you'll know to make your power rankings ahead of time. Or obviously during the season, there's going to be like every week there's going to be power rankings. And so you make your power rankings, and if you send them to me in the email, especially right now where there's 7 or 8 people who regularly watch the show anyway. If you send me your power rankings, then I'll put them up and they'll be part of the show. In the future, if the channel grows, then maybe it won't be everybody gets on there. Maybe we'll find some other way of doing it. But for right now, if you email me your power rankings, I'll put them on the show when I do the power rankings. That's basically the way that's going to work. So to showcase that to some extent, we're going to use this. Me and Mikey are I haven't talked to Mikey about this yet. So as long as you're okay with this, Mikey, my thought process is today, let's instead of doing our individual power rankings, let's somehow, I know we're not going to agree on everything, but let's somehow come to an agreement on power rankings between us. So you say where you think a team should be, and I tell you if I agree or not, and then we come up with a mutual understanding of where the power rankings are. And then, I don't know, John and Jim, and if anybody else shows up, if you want to, put your thoughts in there, maybe we'll consider your thoughts too. And then we'll come up with, by the end of it, who wins the power rankings and who's the off-season champions, which is a title nobody wants to have. Because off-season champions typically means that you're not going to do very well in the season. Because the Browns are often the off-season champions many years in a row.
The Saints are off-season champions a couple years ago. Okay, Jim, just please stop talking about the same thing. Dang.
Jim, it's not like your team's any better. So what is the website? I'll put the website in there now. So, John, I'm gonna put the URL for the website in the chat there. Normally, going forward, I'll put it in the description so you can go in there and decide what you want. Yeah, that's basically the way we're going to be doing it going forward. So, all right. So let's, I guess, go ahead and get started. So let's start from the bottom and work our way to the top. So who do you think's had the worst offseason so far, Mikey?
49ers.
Why the 49ers?
Look at the players they lost. Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, traded away Debo, traded away Jordan Mason. They there was a couple more players that lost, and their biggest acquisition, DeMarcus Robinson. Like, you don't lose half your good team, and plus they still got to pay Purdy. So it's like they've had the worst offseason by far, and it's weird. Like, they could be a good team next year, but if we're going strictly off of this offseason, like, what move the 49ers made, and you're like, man, that's a fantastic move, or that's a move that can get them over the hump. Because I'm sorry, losing your entire secondary is not it, buddy.
That's fair. Okay, so I'm going to tell you who I think it is. I think I'm okay with putting the 49ers at 32, but I'm going to tell you who I think it is, and then we'll come to a mutual decision. So perhaps, let's see. Jumping tiger running down the ball with mouth. Yeah, so that's actually the animation for the the new intro animation I have for the show. Obviously, I haven't put out a lot of standalone content, so y'all haven't seen that too much. But that was a couple guys I met at school, Nick and Jake Boeskool. They made that animation for me. Like, the rest of the video is all me, but that 10 or 15 second animation at the beginning with the tiger and the football, that's all them. So credit where credit's due.
Yeah, my dad made the intro for our show, so a lot of credit to him.
Oh yeah, you're right, John. So if you go to, the actual URL for the things exactly is zone.junglehub.com.
Okay, John.
So that's where you go. John says Rams to 32, so we're just gonna, I think, ignore that one. But you're allowed to feel the way you feel. So I think the worst performance I've seen, and the 49ers have had a bad offseason for sure, to the point where I might be willing to yield on this one, honestly. But I really think, at least as far as optics go, the Texans have just had a disaster. What on earth are the Texans doing, dude?
I mean, I don't know. I think they had a sneaky underrated free agency.
They underrated. They traded away Christian Kirk, who I know isn't amazing, but he's
traded for Christian Kirk.
That's what I meant. I meant they traded for Christian Kirk. He's not amazing, but but his salary, I don't know. I mean, he's not making T. Higgins money. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't trust Christian Kirk right now. I know he used to be good, but he hasn't been good. He hasn't been useful in a minute. I don't know. I don't really. I'm not. But that's not why I'm saying they're the worst team, right? That's just one example. I mean, bringing in C.J. Gardner-Johnson wasn't a terrible move, but it's also maybe not a great move either. It's another guy who's making a lot more money than he's probably worth, at least based off of production. Gave a massive deal to Derek Stingley Jr. And he's good, don't get me wrong, but that's a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of money for Derek Stingley Jr. the thing that made me laugh real hard with the Texans, like they made a big deal. Like they had like social media posts all over the place about it and everything like that of re-signing Sheldon Rankins. Like, are you
What is
fucking kidding?
resigning?
Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins, who has been completely and utterly absent for us, and like basically, like he has barely been on the field. And when he was on the field, he was largely ineffective. And you're getting excited about bringing that guy back. Like you've had such a you've had such a shit offseason that you have to. And I get Sheldon Rankins was once good for the Texans. Don't get me wrong, but he's not the same guy. I promise you, he's not the same guy.
He was once good for us, actually.
But yeah, again, yeah, he was once good for a lot of teams. He was okay for the Browns. You know, he was good for the Saints. He was good for the Texans. But trust me, he is not the same player he used to be. He's completely fallen off. He's not like I can promise you, he didn't do shit for us except for eat up our cap. And everybody's talking about, oh, you're giving all this money to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Well, yeah, but we're not giving an insane amount of money to Sheldon Rankins to do nothing anymore. So like, I don't know. I think we could afford it. At least Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, I remember when Sheldon Rankins, his contract was over with the Jets. I wanted the Saints to bring him back, but then he went to the Bengals, so that dream was dead. So, I'm not too mad at the decision. So.
Appreciate the feedback on that, John. Okay, so I do now that I'm looking at it though, I do think I kind of agree with you on the 49ers. I just think the optics of the Texans look really bad. So I don't know. I want to put them at 31. Do you disagree, or do you have somebody else that you think did worse than the Texans? They also traded away two of their starting offensive linemen, and their offensive line was already bad.
I think it's either the Browns. I mean, the Browns could contend for 31.
Why?
Because other than signing Myles Garrett, what have they done?
Signing Myles Garrett's 10 times more important than anything the Texans have done. Like signing Myles Garrett alone, I think gets him at least a C.
Yeah.
Especially because like that was like he was acting like, he was like we all thought Myles Garrett was gone. Now you got Myles Garrett. And if there's any chance of the Browns turning things around, like it was gone without Myles Garrett. But with Myles Garrett, there's at least a chance that if they can get the quarterback position right, then maybe they've got something to build off of. But you trade Myles Garrett away and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like honestly, straight up.
I mean, I did pick 30, so yeah, I guess we can agree on Houston being 31.
Yeah, that's my thought process on that. Okay, so next worst.
Dallas.
Why?
Because they signed Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Those have to be the most two weirdest running backs to sign. Like Javonte is a good player when healthy, keywords when healthy, and Miles Sanders is just a bum at this point. And also the Cowboys lost Rico Dowdle. They replaced them, but like what else has Dallas done? Like they still have not extended Micah Parsons. Plus, everybody's trying to make a big deal. Oh, they traded for Kyrie Elam. Kyrie Elam has to be one of the worst cornerbacks I've seen in my life to ever be picked in the first round. Like, okay. I'm sorry, Dallas. When you think about Dallas, like the Dallas Cowboys have not made a move this season that it's like, could they actually contend now? Like, I'm sorry, they haven't.
I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, Kyrie Elam is costing them $2.5 million this year. So like
they do nothing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even if he does nothing, I mean, you're paying like some backups get paid more than that and never see the field.
But you essentially gave the Bills draft picks for that dude.
What did they give him though?
Like a 6th or something.
Okay. When's the last time a 6th round draft pick made that much of a difference? Like Tom Brady. But do we think Jerry Jones is Bill Belichick?
I don't know. Jerry Jones thinks he's God. So
honestly, I think draft picks like don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the draft is overrated, but I think draft picks are way overvalued by fans. You notice NFL teams don't really value draft picks that damn much. Like NFL teams will just throw draft picks away for no fucking reason because NFL teams realize that, especially the later round draft picks, the likelihood of hitting on anybody at that point is there's really no point. You might as well trade him for somebody who at least you kind of know what you're getting. And I mean, yeah, you can take a swing if you don't have any reason to get rid of that draft pick, but at the same time, like when's the last time a 7th round draft pick made that much of a fucking difference? Huh?
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy was undrafted.
No, he
and
was Mr. Irrelevant.
I know you're right. He was Mr. Irrelevant. Okay, so Brock Purdy. Even then, I don't know if Brock Purdy made that much of a difference. I think Brock Purdy is a serviceable quarterback on a 49ers team that basically just needed a serviceable quarterback to contend. They could have signed Baker Mayfield and they probably would be better.
Man, I like Baker, man. I actually love Baker, dude. I can't believe it.
Yeah, you know exactly how I feel because I've always loved Baker Mayfield, and then the fucking Browns drafted him, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, because Dad showed me a video of Baker just like talking about his faith and stuff, and I'm like, man, I love me some Baker after that.
That's not the stuff that drew him to me necessarily. I haven't seen stuff that must be relatively new, but I just like he's kind of crazy, and I like people who are kind of crazy, but also not like completely crazy, right? Like Antonio Brown's too crazy. Like I don't need Antonio Brown. But like I kind of liked Antonio Brown before he went completely off the deep end. I didn't like him in Pittsburgh because he was on the Steelers, right? But like when he pushed his way out of Pittsburgh and was with the Raiders and he was doing some like mildly crazy stuff, I was like, I see you, Antonio Brown. And then he like did everything else after that. So like the whole helmet thing was just like.
You do realize everybody's blaming the Bengals for why he's acting like this?
They're blaming Vontaze Burfict, which might be fair, but it's also not. It's also not like blame Antonio Brown. I know, like he probably got a concussion and probably what he's dealing with is, but it's also not Vontaze Burfict's fault that he's like this. It's it's probably like a series of concussions over time. That is why Antonio Brown is like this. And I'm not trying to defend Vontaze Burfict. I'm more so saying that we shouldn't be excusing Antonio Brown by saying it's Vontaze Burfict's fault and giving Antonio Brown a pass. I don't give a shit if that dude has brain damage. There's no excuse.
Yeah, I remember there was this one time where he posted a Twitter of him, he posted a tweet of him in like a Ravens jersey and said like Ravens country were here, or he said something about him joining the Ravens, and everybody just looked at him. He's like, does he not have access to his own phone?
Yeah.
And then apparently came out he does not have access over his own phone.
So as far as the Cowboys go, I mean we can. I can hear an argument for putting them at 30. I like some of the moves they made though. Like Osa Odigizua is, like bringing him back. It's kind of like Myles Garrett being extended for the. And it's obviously he's not nearly as impactful as Myles Garrett, but Odigizua was like. I mean, like Bengals fans were drooling over the idea of him potentially being on the market. And then the Cowboys re-signed him, and we ended up re-signing BJ Hill, which was, like I like BJ Hill, but I don't know. I don't think he's living up to the money we give him. But we also have like guys behind him who I think deserve more playing time. But whatever. But like I do like some of the moves the Cowboys have made though. Like I like bringing in Javonte Williams, for example. It's a small thing. I liked Kenneth Murray Jr. I like bringing him in. I'm not sitting here saying Dante Fowler Jr. I'm not saying these guys are like huge gets. I'm not saying they had an A+ offseason by any means, but like I don't know if they had the third worst offseason. You know who I think actually had the third worst offseason, Mikey? Don't kill me.
If you say the Saints, I am going to destroy every single bone of your breath.
Okay, fine. I won't say the Saints then. I'll say the team in New Orleans.
What? Are you?
Dude,
What you
you'll
doing?
give Chase Young $51 million. First of all, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay, is that the only thing you saw from us?
I haven't seen anything else that really gets me. Like, I mean, like you got excited about Justin Reed. Like, I think I told you Justin Reed's a bitch.
Okay, but that's not the only thing we
And what
did.
the hell
We
else?
signed off.
Okay, and what else did you do? You signed Brandon Cooks, who's like, overrated as fuck. Yeah, I
We
got
signed
Cameron Jordan, I
offensive
guess.
line. We signed offensive line depth. We got Isaac Yadam back. We
But
got
the
Ugo Amadi back. Two guys that were key to our top defense that we had a couple years ago. And then when we lost Yadam, our secondary plummeted.
you
So
also lost. You also lost uh, the legendary future Hall of Famer Lucas Patrick.
but the third worst offseason, like the Saints are like signing depth pieces. Like the same thing that you're saying about the Dallas Cowboys, you can arguably say the same thing about the Saints.
Yeah, and you wanted to put him at 30.
I know. Look, I thought like
So,
I'm
like,
not
I
saying
mean,
the Saints are
maybe
like
we
a
can
top.
put the Cowboys at 20. Maybe we can put either of these teams at 29 and 30. But I have the same argument about the Saints that you have about the Cowboys. The difference is, I think you guys gave Chase Young way too much money, and I can't really see like anything the Cowboys have done that's quite that egregious.
But the thing is, right? The Saints, right? Not only did they not have, plus we also traded for Devon Godchow to fix the run game, to fix the run defense. That was his main point of view, and we finally did something. And it's not like the Saints had like $55 million or whatever the Cowboys had. Like the Cowboys had way more money, and they did less of a job than we did. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying the Saints had like a top 10 offseason or even a top 15 offseason, but like it's definitely not worth the third worst offseason.
They're either the third worst or the fourth worst, in my opinion.
No, they're not. Right? We are not agreeing to that. I'll give you like ninth worst, but that's about it.
Mm. I don't know, by the way, if John is agreeing with me right now, but I'm going to choose to believe that John is agreeing with me.
I'm gonna choose not.
Okay, fine then. But if we're not going to put the Saints there, then I don't know. I guess maybe the Cowboys. Again, I'm not saying the Cowboys had a good offseason. I just don't know if it was as bad as you think it was.
Like the Saints figured out how to solve a lot of holes that they had. I'm happy with our offseason.
I feel like I could. I feel like I could make an argument about the Colts too.
I was about to say I can make an argument for the Bills, to be honest with you.
Oh, I don't think the Bills have had that. I mean, yeah, not an amazing offseason, but not that bad. Like, I think I'm actually, I'm oh, shit. Like, I'm actually looking at this. It's worse than I thought. Like, I might actually change my mind and say I'm advocating for the Colts to be number 30. Because the Colts have just like the Colts haven't done shit worth damn near anything. Like, and like part of what I'm thinking is like, the big signing that they've really had so far is Daniel fucking Jones.
Oh yeah, he's the worst quarterback of all time. I don't know why they signed that dude.
Like I like it's like was it insurance for Anthony Richardson, but like is he any better than Anthony Richardson? Like first of all,
Man,
Anthony Richardson's at least got a
Daniel
decent
Jones
amount
is
of
there.
like Daniel Jones is not better than Anthony Richardson in any way, shape, or form. Like I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is particularly good, like maybe he's not the future, whatever. But like Daniel Jones isn't better. You might as well just keep Anthony Richardson in at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
so I don't know. What do you think about putting the Colts at 30?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, I just don't like what they've done so far. They did also kind of piss me off by signing Khalil Herbert, which I was hoping the Bengals would re-sign, but
Oh,
I
they did.
also think, huh?
They did not resign him.
Yeah, the Colts did.
Yeah, the Colts got
So
Khalil.
but at the same time, Khalil Herbert's like a third string running back at this point in his career, so I don't think it really matters
And
that
Jones
much.
signed Zach Moss last year, so I guess it's fair. You take a running back, they take a running back.
Yeah, but what I was going to eventually get to was the fact that like the Bengals weren't going to re-sign Khalil Herbert. That was personally like I liked Khalil Herbert when we traded for him. I'm like, hell yeah, that's a guy I like in the NFL. But yeah, he didn't really do shit here, so I would have been surprised if the Bengals would have given him a deal. Anyway, 29.
Yeah, you can put the Saints here now.
Okay, good. 29 for giving Chase Young $59 million.
That's not the only reason why. Now I'm thinking about it. That's not the only reason why it's bad. In fact,
No,
I
you're
actually
right.
think
It's
that.
not. It's not. I'm just repeating the thing that is the big like the big flashy thing. It's like Daniel Jones is not the only reason the Colts have had a bad free agency, right? But he's definitely the one that's like the first thing I think of. And I'm not saying Chase Young is bad, by the way. I'm just saying y'all paid way too much for him.
Yeah, I understand that, but that honestly, the reason why now thinking about it, the Saints they have to draft corner in this draft. We lost Paulson Debo, and that's the one guy I did not want to lose. Man, I would have chosen Debo over Chase Young any day of the year. But we let that man go to the freaking Giants. Bro, I understand Paulson Debo has his penalty issues and stuff, but that man was like before his injury last year, that man was literally the best cornerback on the team. Like he was better than Lattimore when Lattimore was even here. Like I don't know why we like. It's not like the Giants signed Debo for like $50 million. Like we could have afforded that if we could give Chase Young $50 million. We could give a Debo like what $20 million that he wanted. Like man, the Saints, bro. Like we could have Paulson Debo. That signing actually hurt. Like that signing hurt more than what I thought it was going to hurt. Like because now we have Alontae Taylor, which I'm cool with, but he struggles on the outside. So we gotta.
So,
Here's
number 28. I'll throw you a bone on
Dallas.
this one. Well, okay, we can put Dallas there. I was gonna throw you a bone with somebody who I think has a team I think's been worse than Dallas. Because again, I really like the OC Odigizua re-signing. Like I know they haven't really done very much else great, so I'm not gonna say they had a good offseason, but I'm feeling better about the Cowboys than you are.
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yep. I say we put Atlanta at 28. Because like first of all, what
I
the
was
hell
just
have they
thinking
done?
about it. Yeah, because like, man, last year Kirk Cousins was supposed to lead the Falcons to the Super Bowl. Ooh.
Well, yeah, and then he also like got them in trouble. But that
Man,
but that
I'm
was
telling
that
you,
was
last
last year
year.
to be fair.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, last year, go look at any conversation between the Falcons and the Saints. It was, oh, the Super Bowl's in New Orleans. Kirk Cousins is going to win a Super Bowl, and then that man proceeded to throw 4 interceptions and suck.
I felt like bringing in Leonard Floyd was an all right move, and putting them ahead of like the Colts, for example. But I don't know. They gave a lot. They gave more money than I would to Divine Diablo, and that seems like their big sign. I mean, I guess they're the big thing they've done so far is they re-signed Jake Matthews, right? Like that's a good move, but
Man, the
nothing
only
really
reason I
worth
know Leonard Floyd's
anything.
name, the only reason I know Leonard Floyd's name is because he hurt Aaron Rodgers. That's the only thing I remember him for.
But yeah, but he's an okay pass rusher. He's not
He's an okay
phenomenal, but
pass
he's
rusher, but
okay.
like,
For
he's an
for
okay pass rusher.
$10 million, he's a decent pass rusher.
Yeah, but Falcon fans act like this man's like Miles Garrett or something.
Well, he's definitely not Miles Garrett, but so anyway,
Don't tell him that, we're gonna cry.
putting the Falcons at 28. All right.
And then we can
So
put, and then we can, and then we can put the Steelers right next to Atlanta.
all right. Okay.
Because they ain't got no quarterback. I'm sorry, you're a free agent. You cannot be outside the bottom 10 if you don't got a quarterback, buddy.
They got Mason Rudolph. Actually, holy shit. Should we put the Steelers lower? I didn't even think about that. Their only quarterback on the roster right now is Mason Rudolph. Um
Can we replace the Texans with the Steelers?
uh no. But I am willing to put the Steelers at 30 and move everybody else up one.
Eh.
Yeah, because I like you got to have a quarterback, and like the whole DK Metcalf thing, people are making a big deal about that. It's like, yeah, DK Metcalf, cool. Who's going to throw him the ball? And
Versus a Dream type that could be dangerous.
he's going to cost you a lot. DK Metcalf has a very large contract. People are criticizing us for paying our wide receivers. I mean, not everybody, but some people are criticizing us for paying our wide receivers. And DK Metcalf's contract is huge, and you don't even have a quarterback to throw him the ball. So, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, like man,
Like, if you were
Mason Rudolph,
keeping Justin Fields, or even if you were keeping Russell Wilson, which, man,
which
maybe
is
not so
not
much with
happening.
Russell Wilson, but if you were keeping Justin Fields, then okay, maybe DK Metcalf. But I just don't see the vision right now.
Yeah, like
And other than that, they did get Darius Slay. That might have been a good that was probably a pretty good move by them.
yeah, that was a cool pickup, but it's like Darius Slay is only going to be in the league for like one more year, so it's like, is he really doing that much?
Yeah, but he's still really good.
Yeah, he's really good for like 17 games.
That's how many games they play.
I know, and then he's going to go bye bye.
That's fine. What? Then they don't have to pay him anymore. Like what? The off season is about being better this year.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the draft is about long term, but I don't know. Maybe we can put
That's
the
how
Steelers
Atlanta
a little
does, because
higher,
Atlanta's
but
going to
I don't
try to justify the
I
fact
don't
that
want to put the Steelers higher. And so unless Mikey, unless you're going to make me, I'm just going to leave them there
okay.
because I don't
Like,
desire to put the Steelers higher. Because fuck the Steelers.
all right, now next for what are we? 32, 31, 32, 26. What about the let me see on this list. Who's had a dog crap all season? What about Jacksonville? Have they done anything?
They've been okay. I'm not great. That definitely some things that haven't been the best. Like some guys that they have like. I mean, I felt like getting rid of Christian Kirk was a good move. They signed Patrick McCarry. I mean, it's been relatively quiet for them this offseason, but like they've been doing some okay things.
Why the
Titans?
Titans? Yeah,
Why the Titans? Like this far
because
down?
they're basically gambling on the number one overall pick, and that's all they got at this point.
Yeah, they also did give a bunch of money to Dan Moore Jr., who sucks. So,
So what about Tennessee?
yeah, I think I feel you on Tennessee. I totally forgot that they gave Dan Moore Jr. 82 million fucking dollars. Like, are you kidding me? Jesus
Sorry,
Christ.
what?
They gave Dan Moore Jr. $82 million.
So being mid it equals millionaire?
He's not even mid. He's like below mid. He's he's a guy that, you know, if he's on like a rookie contract and he's playing like that, you're like, okay, like we're probably gonna have to move on from you eventually, but I guess for what we're paying. But for $82 million, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't like that move at all. And plus they haven't really, I mean, they, signed Johnny Hecker, who's, at one time was the best punter in the NFL. I don't know if he still is, but you know, and they also did pick up Kevin Zeitler, who's a good pickup, but which I guess justifies them not being all the way at the bottom of the list.
Speaking of punters, I think I know our next team.
Who's that?
Miami.
So what about punters now? You mean Stonehouse?
Yeah, that was like the only guy that they signed worth mentioning.
I mean, they got James Daniels. Not nobody. But they also lost Javon Holland, who was a huge deal for them. So yeah, and they brought in Zach Wilson, which I don't think will matter. But it's a thing that happens. Oh, you know what? No, they brought in Jackson Carman. F. He's a cancer. Keep him away from your team.
Good.
Oh my God. F. Is there a grade lower than F? Can we put him at 34?
F minus.
Why the fuck would you pay Jackson Carman any money to play to be in the NFL? Because they're stupid.
They wanted to care for his family.
They're stupid. Dude, he made enough money to care for his family here, unless he blew it all, which I'm not aware that he did. But he made plenty of money playing football here, more money than I'm ever going to make in my entire life, and he didn't do shit. So what on earth makes you think he's going to do shit for you? Why would you pay that man any money? He ain't going to do. He's going to sit around and play video games and not pay any fucking attention.
Yeah. What about the Raiders? Should we put them next? Because other than trading for Geno Smith, have they done anything?
Well, trading for Geno Smith was a good move, though.
Yeah, but have they done anything else to support Geno?
I don't know. Well, maybe not exactly to support Geno, but I mean they got Max Crosby to stop being pissed off. So I mean that's good. I think the Raiders have done okay. They brought in Adam Butler. It's not a bad move.
Oh, I just realized Dallas is still up there. Can we put them down now?
Oh yeah. I forgot about Dallas. But then again, they didn't sign Jackson Carman. So I can't realistically put them below the Dolphins. Okay, so but no, I think the Raiders have done okay.
All right, Chargers, have they done anything other than signing Mike Williams, which isn't really anything at this point?
And no, they haven't really done anything. I don't think they've done anything particularly bad, though. I mean, they re-signed Khalil Mack, which is probably good.
Yeah, they did release Joey Bosa, though.
But Joey Bosa, but I don't know, that might not be the worst move. With all everything going on with him and everything. They did bring in though Najee Harris. Could be a good move for them. Brought in Jalen Reagor, Tyler Conklin. Yeah, no, I think the Chargers have had an okay offseason.
Packers, they're the next team, I think.
Why the Packers?
Because, other than signing Nate Hobbs, which actually, Nate Hobbs ain't a bad pickup, but, for 4 years, what, $80 million was it, I think? For Nate Hobbs, something like that? That's, come on now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that's, I mean, their biggest signing so far has been Aaron Banks, honestly. But yeah, Nate Hobbs. Yeah. I'm not super impressed with the Packers, but I don't think they did anything really that bad. But no, I'm going to tell you who I think should be next.
What?
I kind of forgot about them, but and I don't know, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think the Eagles have had a pretty bad offseason.
Oh yeah, they've had a terrible offseason.
Yeah, I mean, they re-signed Saquon Barkley. You pretty much have to.
You see what winning a Super Bowl does for you? Winning a Super Bowl just makes you forget about all the bad things.
They traded for DTR. Are you what?
Downgrade the backup quarterback position.
Right. It's not like Kenny Pickett was any super good or anything like that, but DTR is awful, dude. DTR is the worst quarterback I've ever seen. I'm serious. I've seen some bad quarterbacks, but DTR, like Nathan Peterman had some really bad, early in his career had some really bad games. But overall, Nathan Peterman wasn't Nathan Peterman wasn't good, but he wasn't consistently awful all the time. DTR, I don't think I've ever seen DTR make a pass that I was impressed by, much less have a whole game like that. DTR.
People were talking about was because of that preseason game he had.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess he did okay in the preseason that one time. That's great. But in terms of anything that ever mattered, DTR is awful. Why would you trade for it?
Trust people with 3 names. Never trust 3 named people.
I thought trading for Kenyon Green was maybe a decent move.
I mean, but you traded away C.J. Gardner-Johnson though.
Yeah, exactly. They
I hate C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I used to like him, but I don't like him no more.
But I also kind of criticized what was it, the Texans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of criticized the Texans for bringing him in earlier, so I can't I guess I can't ding the Eagles for that, but there's just a lot of people who have left Philadelphia, and it's just like the Eagles are decidedly not. I think I think I can say right now that I do not believe the Eagles are going to be a Super Bowl contending team next year, based
Yeah,
off of
I
what I
think they
think so
could
far.
be like. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they like make. I think their ceiling is the NFC Championship game. I don't think they're going back to the Super Bowl.
So next, I propose we put the Jets at 22.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Justin Fields sucks.
Well, maybe, maybe not. I think investing in Justin Fields, especially considering the quarterback situation in New York, investing in
Okay, I
Justin Fields
understand
as like a
for like a prove it deal, but they gave this man a 2-year, $30 million contract, buddy.
that's not that much money to give to a quarterback. It's
But
$15 million a year.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, I know, but like you can pay a backup $15 million a year. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay a backup, but Justin Fields proved to be a pretty damn good backup for the Steelers last year. Like to the point
Once
where,
upon
you
a
know,
past the time.
he potentially earned a shot at a starting job. So, I mean, you know, we'll see. Maybe the Jets go get somebody in the draft who, you know, needs a little bit of grooming, and then you can have Justin Fields be your starter for a little while, and then hand the job off. But look, I'm not saying Justin Fields is a great pickup. I'm just saying that I don't think it's as bad as some people are saying. So, I mean, for me, it's like a C minus overall draft for the Jets. Losing DJ Reed hurt though.
Yeah.
And I mean, they haven't really done hardly anything. Like, I mean, the biggest move they made obviously was Justin Fields. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot of
Oh,
stuff
I
to
just
speak
found
for.
our next game.
They also picked up Chuk Sakorafor, who is notable. He's notable for being the best member of an absolutely horrendous Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah,
But
he's the left tackle.
yeah, I agree with you. But can we put the Panthers now? Can we finally put the Panthers there?
I thought the Panthers did okay.
Like, what did they do other than sign freaking Rico Dowdle?
I mean, they brought in Trayvon Moehrig.
Oh wow.
He's pretty good. I mean, it's not they've had, like I do think people are overrating the Panthers offseason a little bit, but I don't know. I thought they've done a pretty okay job. Like, I mean, they're not going to be contenders this year, but I don't think anybody expected them to be.
What about
They
the
did
Bengals?
they did sign Nick Scott though.
What about the Bengals? Can we put them there?
Why?
Because I'm bitter.
Because I put the Saints really far down.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not. No, I'm not gonna agree. I'm not sitting here trying to argue the Bengals had a top 10 offseason, but no, I think they've had a pretty decent offseason so far.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see who's the Broncos had a great offseason. The Patriots had a great offseason. What did Baltimore do? They other than signing D Hop, like
I don't remember.
I know they signed D Hop for like a year, but that's about it. And D Hop's not even that great no more. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot they signed D Hop. I don't know. I'm not exactly excited to play against D Hop, particularly when he's got Lamar Jackson as his quarterback.
Well, that's because the Bengals have your defense.
Maybe the defense is better next year. You never know.
Trust me, I tried believing. Hint: don't ever believe. It's
They
just a
also
deeper hole.
they also brought in the Bengal killer, Cooper Rush.
Oh yeah, he did. He does like killing you for some reason.
Yeah. So, but a big deal for the Ravens though is they brought back Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's a really big move for them, especially since they weren't able to keep Orlando Brown a few years ago.
Oh, Chiefs. Did the Chiefs do anything?
Actually, yeah, we might be able to put the Chiefs here, honestly, just because like it's not just like the move. Well, I don't know because as far as I don't know. As far as if we're sticking to free agency, I think we have to give the Chiefs some credit because like some of the drama they've had this offseason's been bad, but we're talking about free agency and you know, I mean they got like there was some talk about guys like Chris Jones trying to push his way out and they got him locked back up. They re-signed Nick Bolton, who's really big player for them. They haven't made any big external moves, but I mean, honestly, like, I mean, they brought in Christian Fulton, which I was kind of hoping the Bengals could bring in Christian Fulton. So Christian Fulton, that might be a pretty solid move. Definitely not to the point where I would say they had like a bottom tier offseason. Like, you know, maybe not as good as Chiefs fans will have you believe, but I'd say they had like a they definitely don't deserve to be at this low. No, I don't think.
Okay, what about the Giants? Because like, what about them?
Yeah,
They
there's
signed Russell Wilson. But...
yeah. Russell Wilson's kind of a dumb move. I don't really know what they're thinking with Russell Wilson. But then again, with Russell, I mean, how much money do they give Russell Wilson? Like
10.5 million up to 21.
Yeah, so I mean that's not a bad structure of a contract for a guy who was sometimes serviceable for the Steelers last year. And
I wish I was in the Giants locker room so bad.
Why?
So I can see the Jameis Winston and the Russell Wilson memes. And
okay. Well, you can see that from Twitter.
I don't have Twitter.
Okay. Well, so the Giants did one of the most important things that anybody could do in the history of Italian sports.
Sign Aaron Rodgers.
No, well, that's probably a good move, yeah. But no, I'm saying they re-signed Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, the most overrated quarterback of all time.
But it's the nickname, bro. It's the nickname.
Okay, and we have a guy named Kool-Aid. That does not mean I'm gonna go say he's the best cornerback of all time.
I also really like it's not a flashy signing by any means, but I really like Ihmir Smith-Marsette. I think he's one of the more underrated like gadget guys in the NFL. So I mean, not a interesting offseason at all for the Giants, but I don't think it's been bad. Like, I don't know, 21 just seems a little low. I don't think they've had a very good offseason, but not a bad offseason by any means.
Well, who should be next? Washington had a good offseason. Do we want to put Cleveland?
Yeah, this feels like a good spot for Cleveland. Give him some credit for Myles Garrett, but other than that, it's just like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, and then next after that, I mean, we could put like maybe Tampa Bay. Like,
what about the Bills? Because you mentioned the Bills earlier.
Yeah, the Bills. I mean, like Joey Bosa, he's cool and all, but he's definitely regressed a little bit due to injuries and stuff like that. And Joshua Palmer ain't that flashy of a signing. Like, I like the signing, but it's like you need somebody else there. So yeah, I think Bills and also I'm not. And this is like where all the teams that didn't have a bad offseason comes in, but also not a great offseason. So yeah, I think the Bills fit this criteria.
Yeah, I don't know. Bringing in Larry Ogunjobi's a decent move, but he's also kind of older now, so I don't know about that one. I wonder though. Like I kind of criticized it at the time, but like I also like, what the hell else are you gonna do? Like locking up Josh Allen's probably a good idea, but I don't know. Like I just don't care that much for Josh Allen. Like I think Josh Allen's is overrated. And so seeing him getting paid $330 million is just, that's a lot of money, dude. And he's kind of a choke artist. So, I mean, I get it. Like, you can't not pay Josh fucking Allen for how talented he is, but I don't know. I didn't love that contract so much.
Yeah.
But
is this where we put Green Bay?
How about this? We'll put the Bills at 19 and the Packers at 20.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
And then what about like Tampa? Because other than signing Chris Godwin, have they done anything?
I don't remember actually. That's probably not a great sign, right?
Yeah, we could put Tampa at 18.
I think they.
Carolina. Let's do Carolina at 18. I think.
I think. I don't know. Nah, I'll keep them at 20. I was gonna say maybe we could put the Packers here because they some moves I kind of liked. Okay, but I don't know.
So,
I don't know. I don't know. I think the Panthers have had a fine offseason. Like free agency wise. Like I don't quite I don't get what your beef with them is. Like other than obviously you don't like them, but I don't get why you say they've had such a bad offseason.
I'm not. I said that they're a top like they're in the top 18.
That's I think they've done a pretty decent job considering their parameters. So I mean I'd put them at like personally I'd put them around like 10, 11, 12.
All right, well, what about Tampa? Did they do anything? Because I don't remember.
I also don't remember. Like I said, that's not a great sign if you don't remember anything at all.
Tampa? How would we put Tampa, then Baltimore?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have really any big problems with what Tampa did, but yeah, it's just like other than Chris Godwin, have you really done anything interesting? So
what about we put Tampa Bay and then we put Baltimore because like Baltimore hasn't done anything either.
I think let's put Baltimore at 18 and Tampa Bay at 17.
Okay.
I'll give like I said, I give Baltimore credit for bringing Ronnie Stanley back, but I just don't think that it's a huge point of criticism.
At 16, do we put like the Raiders or the Chargers?
I put the Lions.
The Lions.
Yeah, because I think the Lions like being 16 is perfect for them because like they literally haven't done anything worth noting.
They signed DJ Reed.
They signed DJ Reed, but they lost Carlton Davis. So like, what did you gain? What did you gain? You know,
better corner.
He's not. I think Carlton Davis is about as good as DJ Reed. I don't think they upgraded at all. I think they made a lateral move essentially, which is what I'm saying. You know, and that's part of my criticism is like you made this big flashy move and then you like screwed up in another way. So like, you know, I mean, I do like Derek Barnes, you know, so maybe like 15, but like I'm not a huge fan of the Lions offseason so far.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of 15, is this where we put Kansas City?
I thought Kansas City's been okay. What about the Seahawks? Like
I was going to be my next thing I was going to mention.
Yeah, I was criticizing the Steelers for picking up DK Metcalf, but I also think the Seahawks getting rid of DK Metcalf makes no sense. And why are you getting rid of Geno Smith? Like, do you have a plan? Because I don't see it.
I mean, they signed Sam Darnold for a reason.
Well, then why did you get rid of DK Metcalf? They brought in Cooper Kupp, but he's like, I mean, I think they could have had both Cooper Kupp and DK Metcalf. And like at this stage of Cooper Kupp's career, I think he's better off as a number 2 wide receiver rather than like the only guy worth a shit on the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they brought in MVS, but like, I don't know. Do you care? I don't.
I care.
Why?
Because MVS was the only receiver that could catch a damn ball on this team last year.
That's surprising because throughout his career, he's been known as a guy who doesn't catch the ball.
That man, his first 6 catches, he had 4 touchdowns in New Orleans.
Well, I guess that worked out fine in New Orleans, but didn't really obviously lead to much for New Orleans. But the rest of MVS's career, he's been a drop magnet.
I don't care about the rest of his career.
Okay. But other than MVS, is there any reason to put the Seahawks higher than 15 for you?
Nah. And it's funny enough that John mentioned the Rams here because I was literally about to say we should put the
Yeah.
Rams right next to Seattle.
I was actually about to bring up the Rams too. Yeah, so doing it 8x4 makes it easy to do by division. Yeah, that was kind of my thought process. If you actually go into the code, you'll notice that like in the array, I actually sorted them entirely by division too. So I had the same thought, John. Go lower than
Yeah.
32 for the Dolphins. Yeah, like the Dolphins. Honestly, we like honestly for the Dolphins, 25 is probably too high for them. But I didn't even think about it until we got there. So that's just kind of what happened.
If we replace him with Pittsburgh,
But the Steelers had no. The Steelers had a bad offseason. Like,
nah, I'm playing.
um, yeah, I don't know. Like restructuring Matt Stafford helps. I don't know if that counts as like restructuring Matt Stafford and bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of weird. Like if you're going to restructure Matt Stafford, awesome. That's a pretty decent move. But to go and spend all that restructure money on Jimmy Garoppolo, like why?
Yeah, like you could have just let him walk to free agency, but instead you had to like, what did he do last year for y'all? Did he even touch the field last?
I don't remember. But which is kind of the point. Like if I can't remember, they did bring in Devonte Adams though.
But the thing is, you traded. Well, you didn't trade, but you basically got rid of. You signed Devonte Adams, who is a 30-year-old receiver that's at the end of his career, just
But
to
he's still
replace
pretty
Cooper
damn
Kupp.
good.
He is pretty
He's
damn good, but so is
way
Cooper
better than
Kupp.
Cooper Cup, dude.
I mean, I just don't like the fit there. I think because Puka Nakua, he's not going to be in the league for like that much longer.
Why do you say that? He's pretty good.
Because he said so.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough then.
He said he's playing until he's 30, and that's
Yeah,
in 6 years from now.
I don't know. I'll yield though and put the Rams here. Like I like the Devonte Adams pickup, but all right. They also did bring in Alaric Jackson, which is that's a really good move.
Is this where we put the Giants or Jacksonville?
Um, I almost kind of feel like getting rid of Daniel Jones is worth points.
Well, to be fair, they got rid of him during the season. So.
That is true, yeah. But they also didn't do the thing that it feels like the Giants would do and just fucking re-sign him.
I mean, they didn't
Okay.
need to
How about this? Rams 13, Giants 14.
Okay.
Yeah, because bringing in Russell Wilson is like a really strange move. Like if your thought process is moving on from Daniel Jones, what does Russell Wilson do for you?
Oh,
and then to bring in him and to bring in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston means you're not thinking about drafting somebody.
That's the funniest QB room of all time.
Yeah. So and then also Tommy DeVito. Like they signed 3 cornerbacks. They signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, and they extended Tommy DeVito. So like they're clearly not thinking quarterback in the draft. I feel like at this point in Russell Wilson's career, you got to be thinking like what happens after Russell Wilson. So,
yeah, John, I'm starting to think you hate the Rams more than I do, and I thought that was impossible.
John hates the Rams as much as I think John hates the Rams more than I hate the Steelers, honestly. Which is like unhealthy, honestly. Like my hatred of the Steelers is already unhealthy. Like to be worse than that is something else.
Bro, my hatred to Eli Apple's unhealthy.
Yeah, but that's a person who like did something that you didn't like. The Steelers are an organization and don't actually have a consciousness, as are the Rams. And actually, it might be worse because honestly, like I get hating Stan Kroenke, but like Matt Stafford's a cool guy, dude. Like, you know, like you gotta hate Matt Stafford too, which is just like I can't imagine hating Matt Stafford.
That's why I don't want to hate the Bucks. In fact, I actually don't hate the Bucks, but it's just like it's business.
Yeah, but I also get it from John's perspective because like freaking Like Joe Burrow could join the Steelers, and I would immediately hate Joe Burrow. You know,
What?
I don't care. I don't care if you're on the Steelers. I hate you.
Dang.
Like, friggin' Bruce Dickinson could join the Steelers, and I would suddenly hate Bruce Dickinson.
What if Joe Burrow leaves, goes to Pittsburgh, and then goes back to Cincinnati? Would you still hate him?
Well, that depends on how it works. Like, does he leave, go to Pittsburgh, kind of sabotage them a little, and then come back to Cincinnati and like be good for us again? Then I would think that's funny as shit. I probably wouldn't like him very much while he's in Pittsburgh, though. But then if he comes back and he's good again, then I would probably think that's the funniest thing anybody's ever done. So I'd totally forgive him, but I wouldn't like him while he's in Pittsburgh. I'm not saying I would burn my jersey, but it's mostly because I like value money. So that jersey was, and now to be fair, Thomas paid for that jersey because I won that jersey because the first year that we did the Battle of Ohio podcast, we made a bet on who would pick the most games right during the season, and I won. And so the bet was whoever loses has to buy the other person a jersey. And so he bought me a jersey. And so I didn't spend any money on that jersey, to be fair, but it was still expensive and I still value money. So I'm not going to burn the fucking jersey. I didn't burn my Carson Palmer jersey. I just taped on the back and put quitter.
Oh, okay.
I think I actually, hold on. You talk for a second because I think I still have that.
Okay. Well, while he goes through that, I think this would be a perfect time to say how bad the Falcons suck. You know why they suck? Because Kirk Cousins is the worst quarterback I've seen in my life. He is so bad to the point where he just burns money and probably abandons children on the street. Okay, I'm done. What the heck? You actually did it?
Yeah. Now, I want to emphasize, I did this in 2011, and it's held up. Like this tape. This is tape from 2011. That is my handwriting from 2011, and it still looks this good. This has been through the washer. I don't know how the fuck I managed to do this. You can see the R actually is kind of disattached at this point, but I don't know how the fuck I managed to do this and make it still hold up in 2025. But it's still like it looks just as bad, but it doesn't look any worse than it did when I did it originally.
That's nice.
But yes, I legitimately really did this. Now, also, I also want to be clear. My parents bought me this jersey because this is a very old jersey. I think my parents bought this for me for like my birthday or something, or Christmas when I was like 15 or 16. So I didn't actually spend any money on this jersey either. But I wouldn't burn it. I wouldn't burn a Joe Burrow jersey if he went to the Steelers. I wouldn't do that.
Maybe I should do that to Michael Thomas. Maybe I should just type like Twitter fingers or just like put down the back of his jersey.
Yes, John, that was Carson Palmer. As for a recap for those of y'all who might be too young to remember, Carson Palmer basically decided he didn't want to play for the Bengals anymore, even though we paid him more than any quarterback had ever been paid in the history of the NFL, or any player up to that point. And he just decided, I don't want to play for the Bengals anymore. So he forced his way out. And up to that point, I wasn't that mad at him. I wasn't that mad at Carson Palmer up to that point because I kind of agreed with him at the time that somebody needs to like wake Mike Brown up. And somebody, needs to like say, hey, this is unsustainable. We can't keep doing this. And we ended up getting like a first and a second round draft pick for him. What could have been 2 firsts, but it ended up being a first and a second because he really didn't do shit with the Raiders. But we got Giovanni Bernard and I think Kevin Zeitler out of it, which turned out to be a phenomenal haul. And then also we went and drafted Andy Dalton the next year, who honestly was just as, wasn't as talented as Carson Palmer, but he was about as effective as Carson Palmer. So really, that was a huge win for us in the long run. And so up to this point, I wasn't that damn mad at him until he started talking shit about us after the fact. Like, dude, shut your mouth. And it wasn't just the Bengals he was talking shit about. It was the fans. He started talking trash about the fans. And you go fuck yourself, sir. You quit like a bitch. All right? You go fuck yourself, Carson Palmer. You were my hero when I was fucking kid, and you turned out to be a fucking piece of garbage. Fuck off, Carson Palmer.
Yeah, that's almost identical to the Eli Apple thing, except Carson Palmer's actually good at football. So.
I think the difference is I don't think you ever I don't think Eli Apple was ever. I wouldn't say Carson Palmer was my hero, but Carson Palmer was like a big fucking deal back in 2000. Like when we drafted Carson Palmer, it was like the heavens have parted and like we're finally coming out of our mess of a life of torture as Bengals fans. Carson Palmer is going to come in and save the day, and he did kind of make things better, but then he did that shit, and it's like like you had to imagine the age I was at the time, and then the whole grandeur around Carson Palmer and Marvin Lewis coming in to save the day from the worst football team statistically in the history of pro sports until the Cleveland Browns magically somehow have done worse over the last decade. But Carson Palmer was a big deal to me at the time. And then he turned out to just be a fucking Trojan horse. Like I hate that guy. I don't hate too many former Bengals players, but I hate Carson Palmer, dude.
You still hate him?
Yeah, I still hate him because he's still talking shit. Now, to be fair, he's not really talking a whole lot of shit about the fans anymore. That's something he stopped doing, which I'll give him credit for. But he's still out there talking shit about the Bengals. Like, and like I get it. You make fair points, but shut the fuck up. Like, just like you're doing this, keep your mouth shut, Carson Palmer. Nobody wants to hear your fucking mouth talk. I hate Carson Palmer.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a saying out there where like if you love New Orleans will love you back, and that's been my big problem with Eli Apple. Like this man, he kept saying like the food was garbage, the fans are garbage, the team is garbage. When the only reason that he even like the Saints, if it wasn't for the Saints, that man would have been jobless. Like the Panthers traded for him and then released him 2 weeks later. Like if it wasn't for the Saints, he would have got no paycheck. But then the Bengals, for some reason, saw something in this man. I don't know if they were feeling bad or thought it was a charity, but then they decided to sign Eli Apple.
Yeah, John says he would say Palmer is a good NFL backup quarterback, average starter, maybe. John, how old are you? Like, because I mean, you're not like Mikey's age, right? You're like kind of halfway in between me and Mikey. Carson Palmer, like, as much as I hate the guy, Carson Palmer was an elite quarterback. Like, Carson Palmer was like a top 3 quarterback at one point when he was in Cincinnati, and when he went to the Raiders, he played like a good NFL backup, not that great of a starter. But when he was in Cincinnati, he was the shit. Like Carson Palmer was the shit when he was in Cincinnati, and it was really sad the way things went down with him. But he was legitimately very good in Cincinnati. He had some injury issues, and that kind of held him back a little bit. But like Carson Palmer was something else when he was in Cincinnati. It was like there was Brady, there was Manning, there was like he was right up there with Roethlisberger, at the time, and he didn't stay that way. Although I will say when he went to the Cardinals, much to my chagrin, when he went to the Cardinals, he definitely started playing well again. And he showed that he still had it. I don't think he was ever like if you got Carson Palmer as your backup, then you're being silly, honestly. Now, I'm not saying you're being silly, John. I'm saying if an NFL team did that, they'd be being silly.
All right, so are we getting back to the power rankings today, or is that?
Yeah. I had to go on a rant about Carson Palmer. It's not the first time I've done it on this channel, by the way. But it has been a while since maybe I'll reproduce that video one day. I don't know. But anyway, number 12. We're starting to get into teams we thought had a pretty decent offseason or a pretty decent free agency.
What about the Bengals?
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. I think the Bengals are fair. Honestly, like 12 might even be a little high. I just don't know. Out of the Rams, Giants, Seahawks, Lions, I don't know who we would put the Bengals below. But yeah, no, I think the Bengals at 12 is fine. And I feel like we're gonna get a little bit of like criticism for this one because it's a meme to hate on the Bengals for paying Jamar Chase and T. Higgins so much money, and still to this point having yet to pay Trey Hendrickson. But like, you know,
Better be
what the
something
fuck would
sharp.
you do? Like, what the fuck would you do, dude? Like, we have the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL, and it's not even close. Like, we have the best wide receiver in the NFL in Jamar Chase, and the best number 2 wide receiver possibly in NFL history in T. Higgins. Yeah, maybe not in NFL history because you had like Randy Moss was a number 2 wide receiver at one time back when like it was him and
Yeah.
Chris Carter. So maybe not the best in NFL history, but definitely the best number 2 wide receiver that I can remember in a very long time. And you got those two locked up with Joe Burrow, and you re-signed Mike Gesicki, which is a thing that people have been begging the Bengals to do for a while, is invest in the tight end. And you went out and got TJ Slayton, who's one of the best young nose tackles in the NFL. And you went out and got Oren Burks, who just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. And you haven't done it yet, but it sounds like we're getting rid of Jermaine Pratt, which like I love Jermaine Pratt personally, but he hasn't really been doing a whole lot for us lately. And it costs a lot of money. And maybe it's time for an injection of time. I'm not saying that's like a big win for us, but it's definitely not like, saying like it's a big problem. Like I get the criticisms. We need to invest in guard. We need to, like we probably should have brought in some secondary help and stuff like that, etc.
You got the first ballot Hall of Famer Lucas Patrick though.
Okay, so first of all, even if we're counting Lucas Patrick as a win, which I do like Lucas Patrick. I actually would count Lucas Patrick as one of the moves I like. Now, he's not. I don't necessarily want him to be starting, but if he does, if you draft a guy, if you draft a guy and he starts, in the short term, I think that's fine. I think Lucas Patrick is fine. I like Lucas Patrick, but at the same time, it's not just like, you need more than Lucas Patrick. Like if Lucas Patrick is the only move you make on offensive line this offseason, that's not great. That and that's honestly what's holding them back is like there's a couple of incoming moves that they should have made that they haven't. And then they also haven't re-signed Trey Hendrickson yet. Like honestly, if you re-sign Trey Hendrickson and and on top of what you've done so far, you also add a starting guard and a good addition to your secondary, then we're talking about the Bengals as having like a top 5 offseason, honestly. But it obviously there's been some missteps. And the way they structured T. Higgins and Jamar Chase's contract probably wasn't the savviest of all time, but they still got the damn deals done with like I said, the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL without even a shadow of a doubt. Like, the next closest one I can think of is like, what's his name? Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. That one's pretty good. But T. Higgins is better than Jordan Addison, and Jamar Chase is better than Justin Jefferson. So
maybe, but not.
Well, he definitely
first
is.
Option.
Definitely is.
T. Higgins is not better than Jordan Addison.
Yes, he is. He's definitely better than Jordan Addison. Like Jordan Addison is more like slippery than T. Higgins, but like Jordan Addison can't go up and get a football like T. Higgins can. I promise you that.
T. Higgins also can't stay on the field for half the damn time.
That is also true, but that has nothing to do with talent. That's not what I was saying. Hopefully the injury issues subside now that, because it felt like sometimes maybe he was like not taking a chance on his injuries because he was trying to, preserve his ability to make money. But now that he's got his contract, maybe he's willing to be on the field more now. I don't know. We'll see what happens with T. Higgins and his injuries. But I'm not talking about injuries. I'm talking about talent. I'm talking about when he's on the field, what impact does he make? And T. Higgins makes a way bigger impact than Jordan Addison. I promise you that.
Man, we got laughed at when Michael Thomas got injured. So enjoy the club, buddy.
Michael Thomas was your number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Higgins is not our number 1. We still got Jamar Chase. We still got Mike Gesicki. We're not banking our whole team on Michael Thomas.
For one morning, wakes up and he's like, you know what? I'm done playing football and retires. Then what you going to do?
Well, that would suck, but that's not a realistic scenario. So I'm not really worried about that.
I mean, I don't know. Puka said he's only going to be in the league for 6 more years, so you never know what's going to happen.
Puka was first of all undrafted, right?
6th round pick.
Yeah, right. Okay, so but like I'm just saying, I think Jamar Chase takes football a little bit more seriously than Puka Nakua. Like, I'm sorry, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think I think it matters a little bit more to Jamar Chase than it does to Puka Nakua.
Okay.
Okay,
So what
so
we
we
put
need to
Kansas City or Carolina or one or the other.
um I I could eh, maybe Kansas City. I don't know. Like I who was I can't. Was it the Jaguars I was thinking of?
I mean, what else did Jacksonville do other than trade away Christian Kirk?
Which is a pretty decent move. But yeah, you're right. Like, you know, they've well, they brought in Patrick McCarry, they brought in Jordan Lucas, they brought in Eric Murray, they brought in Robert Hainsey, and De'Ami Brown. So I mean, it's like they've been doing stuff. It's just
But does
nothing's
that scream
really
top 10 offseason to you?
what.
Does that scream top 10 offseason to you?
I mean, maybe. Definitely hasn't been a bad one. But I mean, I don't know. It's like, have what the Chiefs done? Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, I do think the Chiefs have had a top 10 offseason, honestly. So, yeah, I say Jaguars 11, and then like we can put Chiefs at 10, but like I don't know. Patrick Mahomes restructuring his contract isn't really free agency, but I feel like getting Chris Jones to stick around in the building is a big one. Um, re-signing Nick Bolton. Like, they didn't do a whole lot of external stuff, but like, did they really entirely need to? I mean, I feel like with a good draft, the Chiefs could be dangerous again. But at the same time, I feel like, like part of the issue with the Chiefs right now is I feel like I said this after the Super Bowl, but I feel like the magic of the Chiefs and the mystique is kind of broken right now. So I think they really kind of focused on their own internal stuff because there wasn't really as much pull from the outside as there used to be. Like, I don't think they're going to be getting those like, crazy ass deals for guys like DeAndre Hopkins anymore.
Yeah.
But again, they brought in Christian Fulton, which is good.
Yeah, I understand that, but like, yeah, but what about Arizona?
I thought Arizona's had a pretty good offseason, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't mention their names.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, you keep mentioning the Panthers. Let's put the Panthers here at 10.
All right.
Because, like, I don't think the Panthers have had the best offseason. I just think they've had, considering their situation, I think they've been okay. But you've been talking about the Panthers since we were down at like 30. So
yeah.
Okay. Number 9, and we can put the Chiefs here if you want.
What about the Chargers? Because they haven't done much other than re-sign Mack and cut Bosa.
Yeah, but I think those are both kind of savvy moves. Like, I think Bosa was holding them back a little bit at this point, and Khalil Mack's really good.
Yeah,
but I mean, like,
what about the Vikings? Number 8, and now we're in the fan zone.
Yeah, sorry. I'm kind of like jury's still out a little on Minnesota for me because it depends on what they do. Like, letting Sam Darnold walk kind of makes sense to me. Depending on what's going on with God, what's his name? The Michigan guy.
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, depending on what's going on with JJ McCarthy, depending on what their plan after Sam Darnold is, I don't know. We'll see. But keeping Aaron Jones around, I still think is fucking hilarious. Will Fries, Jonathan Allen, like, they've been okay, but I don't know. We're up here at 8 now, so I don't know. We can put the Vikings there if you want.
Yeah, Yeah, and then at number 7, is that where we put the Patriots?
I was actually just about to say that. I think the Patriots offseason has been a wee bit overrated so far. People are acting like it's like a S tier uh free agency period.
Well, that's because they spent
But
that
like,
money, and usually when you do that, then
well, then people
I'm gonna
like
say
it,
it
yeah.
right
But
now. I'm gonna say it right now. I do not like that Stephon Diggs signing.
I don't mind the Stephon Diggs signing. I just don't think it's as big of a deal as people are acting like it is. But like I really like the Milton Williams signing. Carlton
I
Davis,
do
that's a
too,
big
bro.
get for them.
Yeah, but like people are acting like Stephon Diggs is gonna be like 2020 Stephon Diggs, and that's not the case, buddy.
Well, that's yeah, he definitely isn't going to be that. Um,
So we putting the
I
Patriots
think
down there, or
yeah, I think we put the Chargers here.
Chargers? Okay.
Yeah,
And then is that where we put New England at 6?
I honestly think the Patriots have like, but my current thought process is Patriots of 4.
What about Raiders?
Yeah, yeah. I think the Raiders at 6 here. Like I said, the biggest thing is like making Max Crosby happy, which is that even really free agency at that point. But the Geno Smith trade is kind of weird. Um, but I like bringing in Adam Butler, Malcolm Kuntz. Um, Alex Kappa's a weird signing, but they got him for 11 million, so it's not a bad one at all.
Fun
Um,
fact: Alex Kraft was the first free agent to be signed after the season.
they also got Eric Stokes for a fucking steal, dude. They paid Eric Stokes $4 million, and I'm not saying Eric Stokes is like amazing, but like Eric Stokes is a better player than $4 million. So I like the
Yeah.
Raiders offseason or the Raiders free agency period. But I might like the rest of these teams' free agency periods a little better.
So at
So
5, are we putting Arizona?
mm,
I'm thinking either Arizona or Washington at 5.
yeah, my thought process was Washington, but I do really like Debo though. They also gave up a lot to get Debo, and also Debo isn't exactly free agency.
Did they?
Well, I actually don't even remember what did they give up to get Debo.
A 5th.
Wait, they gave up a fifth to get Debo? I swear I
Yeah, are you
remember them
joking?
get. I swear I thought it was like a second and a fifth.
Nah, it was only a 5th, my game.
Okay, never mind. But at the same time, the it stands though that that's not really free agency. To be fair,
Yeah, but I mean,
they
it's like
traded
the
for him.
entire offseason as of right now. So,
Yeah.
but
Um.
I mean, they
Well,
did
but
pay
but
Debo.
this power rankings is for free agency though.
Oh yeah, but technically, if you want to think about it, they did pay Debo. So.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I kind I don't know. What about the Broncos?
I think Denver had like a top 3 offseason.
Top 3 off season?
Mm-hmm. My process was like number 2 or number 3.
Why though? Like I mean, like they did good. But I mean, like I
They
don't.
fixed that. They fixed the defense that was already elite.
I wouldn't. Okay, but that's not really the part they needed to fix.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
maybe like uh,
I don't
I don't know. I just
really.
really love the Hufanga signing. I just really love that signing.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good signing. I get that totally. I don't know. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with their offense. Like Evan Ingram is about the only thing they did with the offense that like stood out to me at all.
Okay, I mean we could put Denver at like we can put them at 5, and then maybe like uh yeah we could put them at 5, and then Arizona at 4 or
Yeah,
Washington.
Arizona. I think Arizona at 4. I do like Arizona, and like Arizona pissed me off. By the way, I really wanted the Bengals to re-sign Akeem Davis Gaither, and they didn't.
Too bad. Get over it and drink some Kool Aid.
But you know, bringing back Baron Browning, I think is like solidifying that deal they got in the trade for him. I think is a big move. Josh Sweat, bringing in Jacoby Brissett as a backup.
Keeping me from saying their name until we got to the top 10.
Yeah, no, I like they've had a pretty solid free agency period. Maybe they're a little high, but I think they've had a pretty solid free agency period.
Number 3, let me think. Who's?
I think Washington.
Yeah.
And I'm tentative on this one just because it's like how much does Debo really count as a free agency thing? But you also right, they did also pay him, so we'll see. But like Washington definitely deserves some credit. Okay, so who's 2 and who's 1 then? Because everybody knows Chicago had a phenomenal offseason.
Like what did the Bears do? I mean, they hired Dennis Allen.
They completely revamped their offensive line.
Oh yeah, that's totally forgot. Well, to be fair, most of those moves came from trades.
That is true. That is true. I don't know. I did. I don't know. I'm kind of hesitant right now to. They also brought in Devin Duvernay as kind of an underrated signing. And they also brought in the great mullet himself, Gardner Minshew.
No, they didn't.
What do you mean they didn't?
He went to Kansas City.
Gardner Minshew?
Yeah. What are you thinking of?
Did he initially sign with the Bears? I swear he signed with the Bears.
No, he's an Arrowhead, buddy.
Okay, my bad. I swear to God, I thought he signed with the Bears. I don't know where the fuck I got that from then.
I think we put the Bears at 2 and New England at 1.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. But I fixing that offensive line though, if they did fix it, fixing that offensive line is huge because that was one of the biggest problems that they've had so far is their offensive line.
Like the Bears, they've had a great offseason, but like most of the moves haven't really been from like sign. Yeah, they've had a few great signs, and that's why they came all this way to number 2. But the Patriots, like you just can't overlook them at the same time. You signed Milton Williams, you got Diggs, you got I'm pretty sure they signed a few more pieces that can add and they spent the most money in free agency for a reason. So. Yeah, I think your 2025 free agent champions are the New England Patriots.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll
win like 5 games this year.
We'll take another look at this. I'll go ahead and save this. And did that save?
I don't know.
Oh, it looks like it did. Okay. Just took a second. So I'll go ahead and save this, and then we'll come back and revisit it after the draft, and we'll kind of crown an off-season champion, like an overall off-season champion. But yeah, that's where we're at. So, how long did I feel like we've been at this for a while?
102 like 2 minutes.
Is that it? It feels like it's been longer than that. Like we started at 9:15, didn't we? So it's been about an hour and 45 minutes.
103 minutes now.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm doing it on Chrome because it's the one thing that Firefox is not able to do for me. Let's see. Yeah, about a minute. Wow. So we almost 2 hours. That's kind of something because I usually I think we should probably keep the podcasts under an hour, but I don't know. It just worked out today. We had good stuff to talk about, I think.
To be fair, you spent like 10 to 15 minutes on a Carson Palmer rant, so that kind of.
I did not spend 10 to 15. I spent like 3 minutes on it. I was just very passionate while I was gone. I was just a very passionate rant.
Trust me, I'm very passionate too, as you can clearly see. Literally,
I know. I was about to say, don't you come criticizing me about going on rants and getting off topic, Mikey.
Trust me, go look at the video after the Saints lost to the Bengals. Go look at it. I swear.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. So
I was not a very happy person, and that's when I had a toddler voice.
all right. Yeah, so anything else you want to talk about before we hop off of here then?
Man. One thing, right, is that did you see Tom Grossi's video yesterday?
I haven't watched it yet. I saw he posted it, but I didn't watch it yet.
Well, spoiler alert for the Falcons, it was so hilarious because it was like, he was like $1, $1 for Kirk Cousins, and nobody gave him $1. That was funny.
I appreciate the shit. There you go. I appreciate your thoughts about the website, John. My hope is to kind of integrate that a little bit more, like particularly the power rankings thing. Integrate that a little bit more. That way, we can get a little bit more interaction going, and also like I've been building that website roughly for about 2 years now, so I'd very much like for it to not just kind of go by the wayside. So I'm gonna try to find and like I said, maybe in the future, because like I kind of have fun with some of the scripting, on a totally non-football related note. But I actually, while I was in the middle of making that website, I ended up teaching myself Python because I got into modding Skyrim, and it got so freaking complicated at one point that I figured it might be easier to learn Python and make an AI all by myself, and then make the AI try to mod Skyrim for me.
Yeah.
I might have gone slightly insane, but point being, I've been getting into some stuff like that, so it might be kind of fun to include some fun tools and stuff that I can put on like the fan zone and incorporate them into like not just this show but like other shows that I do and stuff like that.
Most
So
definitely.
might be cool.
Definitely.
I mean, so if you guys got any ideas about like fun tools might be to build, like the next idea I had, which by the way is way more complicated than I want to get into right now, and I don't know if I'm ever going to tackle something like this, but the next idea I had was to make like like a free agency simulator. To answer your question, no, I'm not going to do that. At least not anytime soon. But
I don't think anybody asked, but okay.
I'm just saying that was my next thought. But then I thought about it for more than 2 seconds, and I was like, that sounds way too hard. No, thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, yeah, okay. I've been trying to see how I could do that, but no.
That would require me to get really into like databases, which I think would take the fun out of it for me. Like I'd have to get into like organizing and keeping databases, like finding all of these players and then manually putting them in. Maybe I could have an AI do it. So I don't know. Maybe if I can get good at like making AIs, I can maybe have an AI do the databasing for me, and then maybe I could make
really
something
been
like that.
watching football for that long.
I can imagine most of your life.
Nah, man, since 2018, man, some of the worst years ever.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, I think that's about it for tonight. So, Mikey, unless you got anything else, then catch us on all the socials, but most importantly, catch me on anything you could possibly want to find from me is going to be here at junglehub.com. Here on the channel. Go subscribe to Mikey Saints fan for life.
It's not that no more.
Well, that's what I know you as. You tell them what you are then.
Hurricane Mike, bro. Look, I was.
Well, yeah, but isn't that what your handle is though? It's not like at Hurricane
Yeah,
Mike, right?
but yeah, that's my handle. But my YouTube channel name was just too long for me, so my fingers kept hurting. So.
Right. But like, if people want to go find you, they have to type in the handle. They can't type in Hurricane Mike.
I mean, they could just like type in the YouTube channel name too.
Well, yeah, but I've tried that before, and I've had trouble finding you.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, y'all can check me out at my website, and anywhere else that you could possibly check me out will be on there too. Um, you can see events, and then don't forget the power rankings. If you send me your power rankings, here I'll put the email. Put the email in chat here too. But if you send them to this email, then I'll put you up on the show. And I'm gonna try to think of more stuff to do like that, because I had some fun coding it, and it also might get me a good job. So this is a win-win for me, right?
$7 an hour?
No. My first job that I ever had, it might have been $7.50. But I think my first job was about $7 an hour.
Yeah.
It was fun tonight. Yeah, I had fun. And if we get more consistent with what we're doing, more people will come and they'll see how fun it is. So
consistent.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. Consistency, the name of the game, and that hasn't exactly been my strength recently. But I will be not in school anymore, so hopefully that'll help.
Trust me, one of my biggest regrets was doing all of those YouTube shorts, because now if I don't do a YouTube short for about 5 hours, I lose subscribers. Like, dude, what do you want from me?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel that one. I really do. But yeah, I'm getting a little tired at this point, so I'm probably gonna fall asleep here in like 20 seconds. So I'll leave y'all as always with a hooday.